Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again. And today, people, today we're here for Avataro Sentai DonBrothers episode 10, and this is a Haruka soul episode. Like, this is all about her and basically how she leaves the DonBrothers in this episode. So basically we see that she has Kaito tells her that she has maxed out her points. So now that she has maxed out her points, going by what Jin said, you can actually use your points to make any wish and maybe even leave the DonBrothers. We also saw that she tried to talk to Kaito about the whole thing of, her being like him being a warrior and things like that, but he completely like dodges the question because like obviously he's not gonna tell her right off the bat who he is and his story and things like that. So what happens is he tells her that you can you maxed out your points, you can now like choose to leave the DonBrothers, you get your old life back, all the plagiarism things that people were calling you and stuff like that will all go away, you'll get everything back. So she didn't hesitate. She literally just said, all right, fine. And then like Kaito was actually surprised. We see by his facial expression, he looked very surprised that she actually chose to leave the DonBrothers. So basically after she leaves the DonBrothers, everything's very different, but at the same time she basically got her old life back. We see her getting an award for like being the best like manga artist and stuff like that, and we see that her life is basically gone back to normal. But the DonBrothers do still exist. We see that she does end up being like attacked by monsters and things like that, and she sees like this girl who's like following her around, and this girl who comes to her her manga signing, and gives her like a little piece of paper, like her number, things like that. And then the girl's acting very weird around her, so you see that this girl is basically following her around and things like that. But also we actually see that the monster of the week in this episode is he's a guy who's also an artist himself, but he wants to be a manga artist. So he actually is going around and stealing the talent from other artists and other manga writers throughout the city. So we see that Haruka is one of his targets. So she sees this girl following her, and while she's following her, she sees that guy, but he's like in his human form, and she tells that guy that, hey, someone's following me. And then he acts like he was protecting her, but then turns out he ends up turning into his monster form and trying to actually like attack her. We see that he was a pirate kind of looking monster, which, hey, lets you know. But we see that the girl ends up rescuing her and transforming into the new yellow for she's the new yellow for the DonBrothers now. And she's like, Haruka's like very weirded out by this, and this girl's name is Maria or Marida. And this girl is she did something. She was a photographer, and you see that she was like a very, very good photographer, but she kind of had like a whole plagiarism thing going on with her as well. We see that she kind of lived the same life as Haruka, or had the same allegations planted on her, the same thing as Haruka did. And throughout the episode, we see that she's actually very she's a better ranger. She's a better yellow ranger than Haruka was, because she outright just accepted it, and she's outright a team player, things like that. She gets along with everybody else on the team, especially Tato. Like, she actually Tato like treats her with like very, very like a lot of respect and things like that, and he doesn't do the things that he did to her to Haruka. And also, no one remembers Haruka. No one remembers her. We see that she remembers Tato. Tato's like, why are you staring at me like that? It's annoying. And we see that she's trying to be noticed throughout the episode. She's trying to get everybody kind of to remember her. And she's trying to be noticed. But overall, she's not getting all that notice and things like that, and she's actually messing up a lot. Like she's breaking pots and stuff like that, trying to eagerly help out with things. But overall, it's like it's messing up a lot of things for for a lot of people around. So you actually see that Marita actually ends up working at the cafe and things like that for Kaito. We see that Kaito kind of has an attitude towards Haruka, even though he doesn't remember her, air quotes. But yeah, so throughout the episode, we see that she has her life back, but she feels very like out of place, maybe inadequate, because she's lost the whole Don Brothers thing like that. But we pan over to our three Hitsugi. We pan over to our three bad guys. I don't know. Yeah, the three main bad guys. Turns out they're talking about the bestials and how the bestials seal has been broken. And now that seal has been broken, we see that they're actually coming here, and kind of foreshadows possible team up between these three and the Don brothers from actually trying to beat this trying to actually take down the bestials, because the bestials seem like a bigger like threat. They seem like they make them sound like they're like a big destructive kind of threat, and it probably would end up causing these three to end up teaming up with the Don brothers, and in the future, we don't know yet, but possibly teaming up with them in the future. We actually see that the bestials has also possessed one of the men that was riding the bus, and yeah, we actually see that he's like raging out, and he still like looks like that guy, but he's like raging out, eating at a restaurant and eating people's food and things like that. So it seems like he's like a big cat thing. Cause he ends up like making like has like a cardboard cutout, and he folds it up into like a cat head. So I'm thinking this bestial might end up being like a cat thing. But we do see that our main bad guys really don't get involved until like the girl one, she gets involved in this episode as well. So we end up seeing a fight ensue, where and we all see that Haruka ends up talking to Marita, and Marita tells her basically like her story of how she got into Don Brothers and things like that. And it seems like, and Haruka basically notices like, oh yeah, like she basically has lived like the same life as me. She's kind of miserable and stuff like that now. But yeah, so a fight ends up ensuing, and we end up seeing them actually fighting off the pirate monster. And throughout the fight, we see that Marita ends up getting she gets flustered, and it seems like she can't fight or anything like that anymore. And Haruka notices that, oh, she can't really fight like that anymore, because she still hasn't given up her dream. She hasn't given up her dream of being a photographer. We had one scene where her and Haruka are at a restaurant, and she sees a painting or a picture that is on the wall, and she ends up stabbing it because like, oh, this is my picture, someone stole this, someone basically stole my work and stuff like that. So but yeah, she's flustered, and she basically can't fight anymore. We see that Haruka ends up running back to the cafe, and she goes to Kaito, and Kaito says, hey, like, and she basically asks Kaito like, hey, you stop pretending like you do remember me, right? And he's like, yeah, I remember you. And he says, please, I'm sorry about whatever happened, stuff like that. I need to be make me a Don brother again. So he ends up making her a Don brother again. She ends up becoming yellow again, and we actually go back to the fight where they're actually fighting off the pirate monster. And for some reason, like out of nowhere, they all have like Robotaro gears now. Everybody, like we see that Haruka transforms. I don't know what she is. I have to rewatch the episode again. I watched the episode twice, but I'm gonna have to watch it again. But yeah, she ends up transforming, and she has like a big, like, I think she's maybe a demon or an Oni. or something like that. Blue turns into a gorilla. He's a whole gorilla. Pink turns into an actual bird, and we see that Black ends up turning into a whole wolf slash dog. And yeah, the pink and blue. I mean, pink and black. Their CGI looked a little rough. I'm not gonna lie. It looked good, but it looked a little rough. I don't know. But I mean, it's been looking rough since episode 1. So, well, the first time we saw them henching. So, yeah. But yeah, we see that how powerful they actually are in these Robotato forms, and we see Don Momotaro. We actually see their ultimate attack all together while in the Robotato forms, which was very, very cool. We see that Haruka has like a missile kind of move, but they're also fireworks, and we see how Tado kind of played off in those fireworks and things like that to do the ultimate attack. End up taking out the monster. But also, we don't get a mecha fight in this episode as well. We actually foreshadow to the next new mecha, and this mecha will actually be all of them like fused together. It will be all of them finally at episode 10. All of them be fused together. So we won't. So now we just don't have Tado out there battling by himself this time. But after they end up defeating the monster, it turns out it is a Gokaiger gear. It is a Gokaiger Red. It makes sense because this thing was a pirate kind of base monster and he was stealing, so it makes sense that it was actually Gokaiger Red. But yeah, Haruka ends up rejoining the DonBrothers again, and everything kind of goes back to normal. But I guess she has kind of like a newfound kind of like respect for the DonBrothers this time, and she wanted Marita to go back and live her life again, and she actually gets like awards and things like that for being a really, really good photographer. And we also see that Haruka is like, she's not phased anymore about how people, calling her a plagiarist and things like that. But other than that, this is a pretty good episode. One gripe, well, a few gripes I have is, why do everybody have Robotato gears now? Like, there was no really build up to this. Like, I felt like same thing with Tado in the last episode. I kind of felt like this should have been like a build up to these Robotato gears, because the gears kind of come out of nowhere and everyone has one. We don't know where they don't show where they come from or how they really got them. They just appeared with them, and it was still very weird. I just don't get that. Like, why? Like, where was the build up to these Robotato gears? I mean, yeah, they look cool, and they do foreshadow a new mech, but like a new mech, like a big one. But at the same time, it's like, where was the build up to get these Robotato gears? Are we going to get a better like synopsis on what the Robotato gears are, or are they just like everybody's like second or like form or second form or anything like that? And also probably one of the moments where everybody got their own separate form that was basically unique to them. Yeah, but overall they all look cool. I mean, they do, but there was no build up to these things, and that kind of leaves it kind of sour. It's kind of sour taste in my mouth. But other than that, I didn't like Haruka in this episode as well, because I do like Haruka, but at the same time, her just outright just saying, "Oh, I don't want to be part," like she didn't even hesitate, didn't think about it or anything like that. She just left the DonBrothers, and then she saw how kind of miserable her life was, and seeing this girl end up replacing her, kind of messed her up. So I understand why she ended up returning back to the DonBrothers, but it was weird. And also one of the first times where, correct me if I'm wrong, if we've seen like a Sentai member leaving the entire freaking team and just being replaced by someone else, and then they realize their mistake and then they end up going back to the team. Like, how many times has that actually happened in Sentai? You guys let me know down in the comment section below. But other than that, it was an okay episode. It was. The Robotaro gears and stuff like that, these forms are pretty cool. The the whole bestial thing that's also they have building up in the background seems like it's gonna be pretty cool. Seems like it's gonna be kind of dark as well, seeing how the fact that these things are seem like they're ruthless, judging by how the guy was acting in the restaurant, very beast like. But other than that, it was a solid episode. It was solid. It was cool. I do like the new forms. They all look cool. I mean, Pink and Black can need some more work, because Black, he looked like Billy's wolf mech. He looked like Billy's wolf mech from the movie, from the Ivan Ooze movie, and I was like, yo, that's the wolf sword. But other than that, it was okay episode. It was solid. But you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this episode. Let me know all that, and I'll see you guys next time. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and stay henshined.